All right, the death of Justice Scalia leaves a vacancy in the Supreme Court, but for how long will his replacement be uncertain? The battle is already underway over whether President Obama or a successor should nominate a replacement. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and the Republican candidates say the nomination should wait until the next president is sworn in, but Democrats say no, that's not the case. Joining us now, Charles Coley Stimson, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for detainees. Thanks for being with us, Charles. We appreciate it.
Sure, Abby. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, Justice Scalia, his death, this is personal to you. You and your family know his family well. This hits close to home.
Well, I had the privilege of meeting him many times and having nice conversations with him. He was warm and vivacious, and he's that rare creature in Washington, Abby, who when you talk to them, they're actually listening to you. They're not looking over your shoulder to see who's behind, who's the important person behind you. And his son, one of his sons, was our priest for years, and one of his grandsons is actually my son's little buddy in school. And so, I mean, I'm not one of his closest friends. Obviously, he had many close friends, but it's a huge loss for the court and for the country. Well,
we are sorry about your loss. And now the question is, what happens next from here? And there's a battle between the president nominating someone, should he not. Whether or not you agree with his nomination, isn't it his duty as president to put someone forward? Wouldn't any president, Republican or Democrat, in his position do the very same thing?
Oh, I'm sure any president would nominate somebody, and the president, no doubt, will do that. The question is whether the Senate, fulfilling their constitutional duty, will provide advice and consent to that nominee, and they're already providing their advice. Don't do it. And there's long historical practice in our country, Abby, for not confirming a appellate justice or a Supreme Court justice in a presidential election year, and the Senate Democrats are simply counting on the American people forgetting that fact.
So if Congress does go ahead and block whatever nomination he puts forward, it's what they're saying they're going to do, what legal authority does President Obama have at that point? Can he put someone in a recess situation when Congress doesn't have a say?
Well, if the Senate does go into recess, then the president may try to do a recess appointment, and there's been historical precedent for that. There have been several recess appointments of Supreme Court justices. That would simply mean that that person is a temporary justice who would serve for the remainder of this Senate term, and then that person would have to step off the court unless that person was actually confirmed by the Senate. The president has said he won't do a recess appointment, and remember, this president was slapped down 9-0 by this Supreme Court for appointing somebody during what he believed was a recess of the Senate, when in fact the Senate said they weren't in recess. And so I think the president would be loath to do that and unwise for him to do that.
It seems everything, Charles, is so political today. Everything is so extreme. Is there a scenario that you can see playing out here at all possible where the president puts someone forward that Republicans can support, that Democrats can support, that independents can support, or is that just implausible?
Well, look, nominations to the Supreme Court are always political, but it was back in 1888. That's the last time a president from one party has nominated and the Senate from another party has confirmed a person to the Supreme Court. So this is unprecedented in one sense, but it's routine that the Senate would not take up a nomination, and that, of course, the Senate Democrats are reaping the benefits of the rules that they changed back in 2013. So they have to sleep in the bed they laid. It's always a political process because they changed the rules in 2013. They're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a very long fight ahead. Charles Stimson, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.